Welcome back to American Agenda. As many states are making plans to reopen their economies in the near future, some are worried about their safety when going back to work. How will employers make their workers feel secure, and that even possible in the light of the virus right now anyway? Will people outright refuse to go back to work? Here to weigh in, our A-plus panel of the day, Watchdog on Wall Street host Chris Markowski and Walser Health Management President Rebecca Walser. Chris, we left off with you. Let me ask you about this. For instance, you've got Tesla asking a couple dozen employees to go back to work on Wednesday. What if they get sick? Is Tesla liable for that? We're going to have this question down the road, who's responsible? They could have gotten it from somewhere else, but the employer might say, no, I got it from the workplace, and you should pay for my coverage. And then they're going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. How are we going to deal with this?
Oh, I can already see all the tort attorneys circling in the water. Did you get coronavirus at work? They have big down in Florida. You got Morgan and Morgan for the people. No anyone's chasing anymore. It's going to be all new with this thing. Yeah, it is. I got to hope that we're going to put some protection for businesses. Obviously, it's very, very difficult to stop any type of lawsuit. You can hit somebody at 1 mile an hour from behind. You can get sued for $1 million. I think businesses are going to have to take precautions, and I think that they're going to do that. They're not going to want to get sued. But is it going to happen from time to time? Absolutely it is.
Well, Rebecca, what are your thoughts on who's responsible for employee safety?
This is what we would consider a calculated risk under the law. So, anytime you're an employee of any employer and the flu season is out and about, guess what? You could go to the office, think you're fine, and you could infect 3 other people with the flu and you could be out for 2 weeks, right? Is that the employer's fault that happened? Now, obviously, we're in a little bit of a different situation because we're working or we're under these stay-at-home orders. And so as government lifts that, then the individual employer, has the decision to make, do I bring people back or do I not? But I am a lawyer, so I will just tell you, an indemnification agreement strikes me as a potential opportunity to say to the employee, listen, the government has lifted these orders. We can come back to the office. We would like to resume normal operations. But I just want to make it clear that if you do come down with the virus, we don't know where, and there is no way to trace where that could possibly have originated from. So we're not going to be held liable if you want to come back to your job. And I mean, let's get this clear here. We have to reopen. We have to get businesses going back again. Yeah. So we can't hold employers and, reopen, get the economy going. But now we're going to sue you because I got infected. I mean, give me a break. I mean, this is America. We need to get back to work, and let's not make everybody the scapegoat for our own problems. Okay. It's a virus worldwide. That's it.
Rebecca, if somebody does get sick and they're out 2 to 3 weeks and they only have like a week or 2 of medical paid leave, how do you think that should work?
Well, that's part of what the PPP did, right? So we would have to see where the PPP is and how that kind of gets wind back into reopening, because PPP deals with you having employees that are out that are due to sickness or due to caring even for relatives that are sick due to the coronavirus. And that allows you to kind of recapture some of that or government funding for that. So we'd have to see the intertwine of the reopening with existing government plans to deal with this virus. But that is something that is absolutely, yes, we need to get people to facilitate it. And I don't know that employers can afford that, right? Can they afford to bring everybody back and then pay for everybody to, be off for 3 more weeks sick? I don't think so. They're out of money. They have no money. They need to work.
Chris, Rebecca brought up the PPP. Do you think that we could even handle any more debt? Do you think we could even go back for more?
You could keep printing, I guess. I mean, keep the machine going. That's one of the big popular programs on Netflix is, Money Heist there, where they keep the machines going as long as they possibly can. I'm not a fan of doing this anymore. And the reality is she's right when it comes to small businesses. I've spoken to many small businesses saying, what am I going to do with this PPP program? I've got to pay rent. I've got to pay all these other things. And the CARES Act, which dealt with some of the issues in regards to people being off from work when they were sick, that's another issue as well, because it puts the onus on the employer. And what if the employer can't afford to pay it? So it's a very, very difficult situation. I think business owners are going to have to go case by case. But the only answer to this at this point in time is getting people back to work and opening up the economy. Take a look at the stock market today. It's doing extraordinarily well, and it's based upon, we're starting to see things open up in various different states. But you want a really good, hard look at what's happening in the economy, take a look at the oil markets. Nobody's buying fuel. That means the economy's very, very weak right now. That's a much better measure right now than the stock market.
You were reading my mind. I was just going to ask you about that because it's down another 25% today. Is the only way that goes back up is for the economy to get going again? Rebecca, I'll ask you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, planes aren't flying. People aren't driving their cars. I mean, honestly, I looked at my car and I thought, my gosh, do I still have gas? Yeah, because I haven't only gone a couple times into the TV studio. I mean, we're not going anywhere. So we are a suburban, quasi-urban, economy that runs on electricity and fossil fuels. And so we're not taking those flights. I'm trying to get to Charlotte, and I'm having to convince people it's okay to, meet me in Charlotte. It's crazy. We have to get on these planes again. We have to get into our cars again. And that's only going to happen if we have someplace to go, like the office or a restaurant or something that's open. So let's please get some stuff reopened so we can get in our cars and spend some gas money so we can go buy some gas so we can get this price of oil out of the actual tank that negative last week. I mean, never happened before. I mean, I could, you pay me to store oil. Are you kidding? I wish I had a warehouse. I would have stored a lot last week. I would have been.
You need a tanker. You need a tanker offshore.
Oh, wow. Well, Rebecca Walser and Chris Markowski, a lively discussion. We always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up, we will have continuing coverage of the coronavirus crisis.